Hey there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and today, look, I have a mess for you. I was trying to put my phone in my holder, started my video, so I guess here we go, right? Let me try to make it a little, oh, and my cat is, okay, he's gone. All right, so let me show you the card that I have planned for you today. It's going to look something like this. I think I'm going to change it up a little bit. There's a couple things about this one that I don't like. And so as we go, let me fix my, there we go. Now I'm ready to push the start button. Anyway, and what we're going to use to make this card is the beautiful Butterfly Abounds. Is that what it's called? Beauty Abounds. Butterfly Beauty Thinlits. We're going to use a bunch of stuff. Now I'm very disorganized because I wasn't quite ready. Anyway, funny. Let me show you the dies. So on this sheet, look at all those little tiny dies or little tiny butterflies that you can cut out. And then it also has the big ones, the butterfly like this. This is the black part on the card. And then this part, which is the colorful part on the card. But let me show you what it looks like separate. So this is one of them, cuts the butterflies out, this really delicate cutout. And then the other one is like this, and then they layer together very nicely. And then all those little butterflies you could use as embellishments or what have you. And some of the dies even cut out the little butterflies from the stamp set that looks like this, which we will also be using today. Now, so you know this is on the retired list, so both of these are while supplies last. The stamp set is $23. It's just your normal price. However, where's my little notes? The die set is marked down to $23.40. So normally it's $39, and now they've marked it down to $23.40 in the US. But remember, they're while supplies last. So let's go ahead and work on our card. Let me put this stuff away. I've already cut out those two pieces because I wanted to show you what they look like. Let's mount our stamps. I'm going to use this, I'm going to call it Big Bubbles, Little Bubbles, some scattered stuff here. So we'll put the little bubbles and the big bubbles and the spattered stuff, and we'll just start there. And then we'll get more stamps out as we go toward the inside of our card. The colors that we're going to use today are Gorgeous Grape, Flirty Flamingo, and Daffodil Delight. So what I did, well really, and let me tell you this. So what I got was this card. Now there's a lady by the name of Wendy, and she was at a class. I went to one of my downlines class, Mary's class, and she was there and we did swapping. And this was Wendy's card, and I thought it was just beautiful. I got it almost a year ago. I've wanted to do a video for a long time, and today I finally took the opportunity to show you how to make this card. So thank you, Wendy. And I don't even know Wendy's last name. Is that terrible or what? But thank you, Wendy, for swapping with me. It's a beautiful card, and that's what I'm going to case today. Okay, let's get a piece of scratch paper here. Okay, so I'm going to use our blending brushes. I think that's what these are called. And I know right now they're on back order, but they're supposed to be back in the catalog or back live. You can order them again on April 12th. If you don't have the blending brushes, you could also use one of our little daubers. Same thing, just daub it up and rub it on there. Or you could use one of our sponges. Now, to warn you, the sponges is another thing that's on our retired list. So at the end of the catalog or when they sell out, the sponges won't be available anymore either. And what I like to do to the sponges is I take them and then I cut them into fourths. And then I put a clothespin on there, and then I write the color. This says basic gray in case you can't read my writing. And then that's how I do my sponges, is like that. But I was kind of shocked to see the sponges on the retired list. We'll see what happens with that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to start with the lightest color, which is the Daffodil Delight. Oh, no, you know what? Let's hold back up just a second. I'm going to do a little bit of change to this piece of paper here. I'm going to take and cut off all of those butterflies' heads. I know it sounds kind of mean to cut off the butterfly head, but we really don't need it. and it's just a part that's going to stick out and be hard to color. So like I said, all the little butterflies' heads. Oh, and look what I found. Here's a little piece that didn't come out when I die cut. There, get rid of him too. But cut off all his little heads like that. No more butterfly heads. We don't need those. And then I'm also going to take, and I don't think these are called butterfly feet, but I'm going to cut off these little things down here too and cut those off. And you see, because when you set the butterfly down, this piece has all those heads on there, and it's going to, you won't see them anyway, and so it'll look just fine even though we cut their heads off. Okay, back to the yellow ink. We're going to take some Daffodil Delight. And now I have to warn you, I have to be careful. I have a very heavy hand, and sometimes I get a little rough with my paper. So I'm going to try really hard to be gentle. But I'm going to tap it here, and then I'm going to just start getting some color on those butterflies. And look how pretty. And then if I wanted more color, I could even tap like this and get more color from my brush onto my butterflies. But there, and I'm going to get a little bit more around the edges. There we go. And then smooth that out. And look how pretty those two yellow butterflies are already. Oh, except look, I missed a little bit of ink up here on his wings. There. Now look how pretty those two are there on the wings. Okay, now I'm going to just take a paper towel. I think this brush, I'm going to use the same brush. And I'm going to just take a paper towel here and kind of rub some of that ink off. And then I'm just going to go straight into the Flirty Flamingo and see what happens here. And pick some of that Flirty Flamingo ink up and just ink this other butterfly. There we go. Get some ink on there. And see, without that little piece here with the head and the antennas, I think it's just a lot easier to ink it up. They don't get in your way. Having trouble. There we go. Get that tip of the wing here. Down here. Maybe a little bit. And turn my cardstock. I think it's easier to get to it if you turn your paper around rather than trying to move your sponge to the area you need. There, I wanted that a little bit darker. And oh, I put my finger. Did you see that? I put my finger in the ink. Okay, is it Monday? It's got to be a Monday. No, it's a Friday. Maybe that's what's even worse. It's a Friday, and I can put my finger right in the ink instead of my sponge, or instead of my brush. Nice, Kathy. Okay, so now I think my butterfly looks pretty good, just like that. Now we're going to go, well, no, I see another little spot right here where I want. I think we're good. Then we're going to go to the darkest color, which is the Glorious Grape. Now, since I have a lot of ink on my paper here, I have to be careful because it's pretty damp and it's probably really flexible right now. So I'm going to be really careful with my paper since it's got a lot of ink on there. But let's bring in that Gorgeous Grape here. And I'm going to just ink up those bottom two butterflies. Yikes, see, there was that heavy hand. Did you see me mess up my paper a little bit there? Easy. I've always had a heavy hand when it came to sponging, and it's a lot of work for me to try to be gentle with my paper. I think that's why I like the brushes, because I can hold it here and I can kind of monitor how much pressure I'm putting on the head of my brush. But there we go. Whoops, see, I've been together. Okay, so now I think we're done with our sponging. I'm going to set this aside, and I let you notice this. I do have some different tones of purple down here and different tones of the Flirty Flamingo and of the yellow, and I really like it that way. So I kind of did that on purpose. Now, if I didn't want the tones, I could just go back over that with a little bit more ink and like fix those so they're all the same color. But I'm going to bring in and work on the front of our card. So here with just a piece, oh no, I need this too. just a piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to take those smaller of the bubbles and just stamp those randomly here on the front of my card. There goes a fire truck. I hope everything's okay. And then I'm not going to put that too far because I might want to put some of those on the inside of my card, but then with the Flirty Flamingo, I'm going to bring in those bigger bubbles and just stamp a few of those. And one more right here, here. No, let's do one more here. And then with the Daffodil Delight, I'm going to bring in that spatter and stamp that randomly around here too. And just kind of make my own designer series paper with these random stamps here. Oh, and you know what? We need one up here. Okay, now I think I'm happy. Okay. So now it's time to put that fine black piece onto my white inked butterfly. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use my silicone mat here and what I call my sponge applicator. So I have a piece of sponge here. I've cut it into fourths. I put it on the clothespin just like I did if I was going to use ink, only this time I'm going to use glue. So I'm going to use my silicone mat. Now you could just use a piece of scratch paper, or you could use a piece of wax paper. It would work the same. I'm going to turn my black fine cut butterfly over. Wait, I see a piece here that I missed. There, now he's gone with the die cutting. But I'm going to put the back side up and take some of that glue, the green liquid glue, or it's the glue's not green, the bottle's green, but some people call it the green glue, the liquid glue, and put that there. Now making sure that my paper doesn't move because I only want the glue on the back, I don't want it to get on the front. I'm going to kind of pounce in that glue and then pounce on my butterflies here and get that glue, here, all over my butterfly. All over, in fact, all of the butterflies, the big butterfly piece here. And one more right here. So now I have, on this one, okay, a nice sticky butterfly piece that I can take. Where's my scratch paper, just so I don't get any glue on my tabletop here. And I'm gonna lay that right there on top . There, and look how pretty my butterfly piece is now. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring in some mini dimensionals. These are black, but first let's put this onto the base. Let's take, here's just a card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored by 4 1/4 of basic black. I'm gonna put a crease with my bone folder and then add this piece with some tape runner here, some Stampin' Seal, and lay that on here. There we go. And then on the back of this, with those mini dimensionals, I'm going to take and find spots that are big enough to put a dimensional on my butterflies. Put a couple more here. Let's see, I think, oh good, one fits right there. One's gonna fit right here, and maybe on the tip of his wing here. There, that looks pretty good. Okay, now we gotta take all them backs off. Now, since there's glue on the back of my antennas from when I put the glue with the sponge on there, I'm going to just be careful I don't apply a lot of pressure when I put this piece onto my card so they don't stick to my card base. Well, one more. A bunch of little backs. Okay, so I have all the backs off of my dimensionals. Let's go ahead and put this on the front of our card. So it looks like that. And look how pretty that is. Now with just a little bit of bling, I just have our basic rhinestones here. And I'm going to take, let's see my pickup tool, if I can just take these little ones and put it right here on my little butterfly. It's kind of making it for when I cut his head off. I'll put a little bling on there. One on this one, and then I'm going to put the medium size one right here on this guy. And there we go. So now, look this up a little bit. Looks like that. Okay, let's work on the inside. So on the inside, I really like the words that say, our friendship isn't one big thing, it's a million little things. So I'm going to stamp that on the front of my card. And I'm going to take my, where did my stamps, here we go, my stamps, and lay them on my card where I want them, or on my card stock. I'm going to lay them right here on this piece of Whisper White. I think that looks good just like that. So then I'm going to take my block and pick both of them up at the same time. And with a little bit of, where did my black ink go? Here it is. It's over here hidden with all the junk that I set over there. We're going to ink that up in just some black memento ink. Really, I should be using my Stamparatus, the positioning tool, because then it would have been a lot easier, but we'll just go the rough route and put it on with the block. Set that down right here, let that ink sink in, hold it in there for just a minute. Nice. And then I think I am going to come back with some of those splatters. And I think this time I wanted it a little bit lighter, so I'm going to stamp off. So I'm going to stamp here first, and then stamp on my card, or on my inside of my card, like so. And then let's do a little bit of those little bubbles. Do a couple of the bigger. And then a bunch of those little purple ones. And look, I got a smudge down here, so we better put one right down here too to cover up my smudge. Now no one knows I put my finger in the ink. Okay, let's put that into the inside of our card. Get all this junk out of the way. A little bit of tape runner. And there you go. How pretty. So let me show you Wendy's card again. Wendy's look like this, and then this is my take on it. Now the last card, my sample card, instead of the basic black, I use the Gorgeous Grape as a background, but I kind of think I like the basic black better than the purple, but it depends what you have. And I do like the less bling instead of the great big bling that I used on this one. So let me show you, there's another stamp set and die set in the catalog that you could do with the same technique. It's called the Blooms in Bloom and the Coordinating Layering Bloom dies. So you could do the same thing with this stamp set. I did it looks like this. So what I did was I cut the big die out, the big solid die out in white. I inked it up with some crushed curry, some old olive, some pretty peacock, and then some of that flirty flamingo. So you can see all the colors on there. And then I just layered those two together, and the top piece was pretty peacock. Whoops, goes this way. So that's another die set and stamp set that you could use to do the same technique. So then the last thing I want to show you real quick, and I'll let you go. So if you used your silicone mat with the daubing of the glue, all you have to do is take a lint roller, and now my lint roller is pretty dirty. Let's see, I might have to get, nope, and it just takes that glue right off of your silicone mat. It also takes off any glitter, any lint, anything stuck to your silicone mat. So if you have a dirty silicone mat and you want to get it cleaned, your handy dandy lint roller is the way to go. All right, if you need to know measurements for the card or all the products that I used, you can go to my blog, becreativewithkathy.com. All the measurements will be on there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back again on Monday. Bye-bye.